Reenacting is my hobby before I became a museum employee, and so now it's part of my job. And the reason I think I like it is I work with school students all throughout the year, thousands upon thousands of students, and living history really opens their eyes. It's more than reading it on a book or seeing it on TV. They can interact with it, and when they do, it gives them the chance to take something home and keep it with them. So hopefully it sparks their imagination for history. In 1862, the Union Army came into the Indian Territory after they had abandoned it, and they failed to get a foothold, so they went back to Kansas. They tried again in '63, and the troops came to Fort Gibson, and they feared that they were getting ready to be overrun by troops that had gathered at Honey Springs. So General Blunt marched south, and on July 17th, the Battle of Honey Springs occurred, and it's the largest battle in Oklahoma with nearly 10,000 troops, and it was a decisive Union victory. And it really changed the tide of the war in Oklahoma.
Well, I think it's really important that people know that black people had a part to play in this significant battle that took place in Indian Territory. It was runaway slaves from Texas, Indian Territory, Arkansas, Missouri, who had already secured their freedom, mind you, who then enlisted in the Union soldiers and came back to Indian Territory to fight not only for their freedom, but the freedom of their people. And it was the only mission that I know of where black soldiers were not only central to the mission, but also central to the victory.
This tube is a 3-inch wrought iron rifle. It was the only wrought iron tube that was used during the Civil War. It was the most accurate and the best made. There's only one documented failure of a 3-inch rifle in the entire Civil War on either side.
I enjoy the artillery simply because it gives you a feeling of what it was like during the war. I understand that infantry does the same, and so does cavalry. But somehow or another, I have an affinity to the artillery because you can kind of stand back during the artillery barrage during a reenactment and see it work.
It's American heritage. We like showing it to the people, what we do and how we do it, and how the people actually lived back then, what they did, what they wore, what they ate. At a reenactment, most of all the tents are all authentic tents. Everybody lives just the way they did back then. The artillery did, the infantry, the cavalry, the medical.
But my grandfather, John Houston, saw all kinds of battles to include the Wilderness and Gettysburg. He was captured and held in a POW camp. So to survive Gettysburg and the Wilderness, that was quite a feat. Yeah, he was, like I said, he was on his way to Atlanta, and from what we understand, there was a small skirmish while he was en route. And that's where he was killed, was somewhere between, they don't know exactly where, but it was between Alabama and Atlanta. If you got into a battle, the saber was more of a debilitating tool.
You would want to come down and break the man's collarbone. If I break your collarbone, can you lift that right arm anymore?
No.
You're useless on the battlefield.
It's going to take two people to get you off the battlefield back to the hospital. So I've eliminated 3 people instead of 1. It is important because it is history. And unless we preserve it, then, you know, our future is going to be hard to decide, because we learn from our past mistakes, which helps build the future. It's educational. It is a part of our history. And any time, and whichever side you fought on, or they fought on, we have to honor our veterans.